Hello everyone, it's Cribini and Tina.
Hi.
Welcome to the channel. Hope everybody's just having a wonderful day and that your day is going great as ours and that you are in the best of health.
Yes, with health as always being most important. Today we're going to talk about our favorite thing, retiring and relocating abroad. Now I know that most of our videos are about the Dominican Republic because, hey, that's where we live.
Right.
But today we're going to give you 8 different countries that you might consider, pros and cons of those. But before we get into the countries, we're going to talk about what you really need to think about before even moving abroad. When you're sitting down with your partner or by yourself and you're thinking, hey, I'm ready to make that plunge. I'm ready to move ahead and go abroad. I'm sick of fill in the blank wherever you live. US, Canada, wherever it is, and I want to move abroad. What do I need to think about or consider before I make my choice in the country that I want to go to? So here are the 8, I think, most important in no particular order, but 8 things you have to consider about this new place that you're considering living in. 1, housing costs.
Right, because that's going to be number one. You're moving outside the box. You ain't trying to stay inside the box. You want to get outside the box, not in.
And I say like this, they say that your bed, right, meaning the home that your bed is in, and your car are the 2 most important things when you're working.
Right.
Because you spend the majority of your time either getting to or from work and then in bed resting up for the next day. So that's what they say when you're working. Well, we can tell you when you're retired, your home is your biggest expense, but it's also where you're going to spend most of your time. So it needs to be very comfortable because in retirement, we like to lounge around, sit out on the balcony. Our place has amenities that we take advantage of. So all of that is very important in where you live, and housing costs is one of those. So the next thing is the ease of processing visas and residencies for expats, because that's technically what you'll be, an expatriate, meaning you left your country of origin and now you're living somewhere else in another country. So what is the ease of that process? Do they make it easy for the expat? Do they make the cost affordable? All that will play into where you want to go, because I happen to know that here it's a lot of red tape, it's a lot of paperwork and a lot of work that you have to do on the US side to bring here in a timely manner. Plus it has to be, what do they call that?
Apostled.
There you go.
Plus they take you to a whole lot of changes, and if you mess around and you get the wrong lawyer, you out of thousands of dollars.
Right. So
I'm just telling the way it is.
Right. So you want to look at the ease of that process, because that may or may not change your ideas about moving to that country. The next thing is your favorite thing, which is the overall cost of living. Meaning we're talking, you're not just your housing, but your daily bills, gas, transportation, food, anything that would be in the overall cost of living. Then you also want to look at is the good quality and accessibility of healthcare. Healthcare, is it easy to get? Is it cheap, the way he likes to say? But is it good quality? Because we, of course, as retirees, unless you've planned really super well, which congrats to you, you've retired young and you're still healthy. Regardless, your body is aging, your body is deteriorating. We're not getting any better. Everything's breaking down. You want to make sure you have some type of health care. So you want to make sure you have quality health care and good cost of health care.
That's very important.
We know that's one of your favorite things to talk about.
That's one of my favorite things to talk about is health care, because the health care cost inside the box will eat you alive. When I say eat you alive, it's just like you getting into a box of a fish tank full of piranha and they just tearing you apart.
Right, and you don't want to go right back to that. I mean, that's why you're leaving.
Hello.
To be free, libre. So, hey, if you're trying to be free of it, you don't want to go back to paying a lot. So that is another thing you want to consider. Also, the opportunities of the country's development. You always want to make sure that the country is doing better, not worse, than it was a few years ago, and that it has great plans in the future, because hey, you're living there and you're going to be there. So you want to make sure, are they fixing or always constantly working on roadways? Are they working on telecommunications? Are they bringing in businesses, thus making the place thrive? I don't want to go someplace that's dead and desolate where they haven't seen progress in over 10 years.
Right.
So you got to do your due diligence.
Like fiber optic cables, they finally put in here. Fiber optic. So that's a good thing.
Yeah, so it's moving forward. Perfect. And of course, what a lot of people move for, great climate. And that means different things for different people. Some people, it may mean they want to move to the tropics because they want to get away from the snow like we did.
Right.
Or it may mean they're tired of the hot weather and they may want a little cooler.
Right. Absolutely.
Up to the person, but whatever your idea of great climate is, you definitely want to make sure you're looking at the overall climate. Climate also will include typhoons,
hurricanes.
Thank you. Tropical storms, all that stuff, earthquakes, all that stuff that may happen because, hey, you're stuck living there.
Tsunamis, tidal waves, all that good stuff.
And another one of the, this is number 7 now, governments, I'm trying to keep track, stability. So the governmental stability and personal safety. Because like you always say, that should be number 1, honestly, because your safety is of the utmost importance. Remember, wherever you're going, to look at the government stability, their track record. You don't want to go somewhere where you or your belongings may be in trouble.
Right. And you always want to watch out. I mean, you just got to keep your eyes open. You got to watch your surroundings. And like I always say, and I'm going to keep preaching this on this channel, you get what you pay for.
Right. So if the place is super, super cheap, my question would be, if it's so cheap, how's the government and how is your personal safety? Because to me, you can't put a price tag on your life or my life.
Absolutely.
Things can be bought, but your life is, you only get one. Unless you're a cat and you have 9 lives, you only have 1 life. So take care of it. And last, the ease, if this applies to you, again, because some people just come to just retire and nothing more. But if you're thinking that you don't want to just sit at home and watch the palm trees sway, and you want to get out there and still be productive, or you're looking to leave early because you are a virtual worker, what is the ease of working virtually, or what are side job possibilities in that country? Like, for example, when we went to Puerto Rico, there was, before COVID, a lot of people who did tutoring and who do tours.
Right, absolutely.
So that's a great side job.
Right,
if you, especially, I told him, oh my God, you would be perfect for that. He loves people. He loves
showing people around.
There you go.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I was like, you would be like the perfect tour guide if we were living in Puerto Rico because, hey, it's something he loves to do. It's a way to make a little extra income. And it's a very viable source in a place like Puerto Rico. So wherever you're looking, and if you want to keep working or you want to work virtually, you have to look at, well, what's the ease of that? Am I able to in that country? Meaning, like you said, fiber optics. How good is the speed of the Wi-Fi?
Right.
How often does the electricity go out? We get that question a lot in the DR for people who are thinking about working virtually here.
Right.
And then they have to think about other options like backup generators, converters, whatever that they need, solar energy. They have to think of other ways to make it work for them. So now that we've talked about the things that you should consider when you're choosing your country, now you've got your target list of what you're looking for. Now let's talk about some countries.
There we go. Get some options here.
All right. And again, no particular order. We threw in some things you might not have ever thought about into some things that maybe are already on your list of potential places to live. And also remember, we're going to go through some pros and cons, but do your due diligence, look thoroughly into the country that you're going to live or possibly thinking about living in to get the best one for you.
Right.
Because what's good for you may not be what I was looking for, and what I chose may not be what you're looking for. So every individual is different, and so is their circumstance. So here we go. First country we're going to talk about, Vietnam. Vietnam. So some of the positives are the cost of living, of course.
Right.
It's dirt cheap.
Dirt cheap.
If you have a very small budget, Vietnam might be something that you thought about.
Yeah.
But when it comes to housing, they find a con is that a lot of foreigners tend to live in high-profile cities, not in the outskirts.
Right.
And because of that, they get higher prices.
Higher prices.
So that is a con. And also, we thought our driving practices here in the DR were bad. they have a worse death rate due to driving than us. So that's another big negative. I never even thought anybody was worse.
Yeah, I did. I definitely did. 'Cause I know how they drive when I was in Korea. They drive crazy in Korea too. They drive crazy, nuts, everything.
All right.
In Korea, they drive crazy.
So another option might be Spain in Europe. So cost of the living cheaper, I should say, lower than the US and other countries. And the healthcare quality and the cost are on the positive sides. They say they have excellent healthcare. And on top of that it's half the price of what it is in the United States.
Right.
So there's something you might not have thought about, and you might say, Spain, never thought about it. Put that on the list.
And that's a plus.
Right. Some of the cons, they say that sometimes you'll find that high rental prices, again, for expats, and actually they just have high rentals, and the choice of purchasing is a little small, but hey, now COVID, that might be on the change, on the come up, so we'll see.
Right.
And then they also complained of long lines and slow customer service, but quite honestly, I don't need that. I think that doesn't bother me because that's here every day.
Yeah, absolutely. Every single day, every place.
So the next one I think you know something about, right?
Right. Dominican Republic, where we stay at right now.
There you go. And he and I have done multiple videos on the healthcare costs and the quality of healthcare. So healthcare costs are low. It may be an option because of that for you. Also, cost of living videos.
Right.
We've done multiple videos. Watch the videos on how to live at under $800, how to live under $1,000, and our 1 year, how much did we spend video on cost of living, so that you can see that the cost of living are low here in the DR. So if that's what you're looking for, cheap healthcare and low cost of living, DR might be on your list. Might be why you're watching us right now. And now we got to get into the negatives, though.
Okay, let's get into the negative.
Okay. Humidity damage.
Right.
On everything.
Clothes, shoes,
Furniture,
tennis shoes.
women, purses.
It's just your suit in the closet. It's just, the
Everything.
humidity is crazy. And the closer you actually live to the beach, the worse it is.
Yeah, so think about that, because a lot of people want the beautiful beach view, but you don't think about the saltwater damage.
That's right. They don't think about that.
And the humidity damage. So there's that. Also, unsafe driving practices. We've had videos on that too.
Right.
You've done videos.
I've done videos on that. I've seen people go down one-way streets, going the opposite direction, the whole 9 yards, driving crazy, racing, the whole 9 yards, motorcycles.
Yep. And what you've already talked about, the government bureaucracy when it comes to visas and residency. So he just talked a little bit about that in the beginning, and that is a negative here. So the next country on the list, Colombia. Cost of living and healthcare is low, but they say the quality is not that great, so that's a con. They say there is also, as well as most people know, high government corruption in the country of Colombia. So if that is an issue, then that's a con for that. And also their exchange rate is very volatile. Like I know even during COVID, it like spiked up and everybody was like, oh my God, I'm gonna move to Colombia because I can get 1 billion pesos for $1 American. And then all of a sudden it just like drops 500 to 600 pesos. And when you're exchanging money, you, like I said in another video, you don't want to exchange a whole lot at one time because of the volatility, meaning the difference you can lose or you can win really big, but no guarantee one day to the next. The next, Mexico. A lot of expats moving to Mexico.
A bunch of them.
It's because cost of living is low in Mexico. They have cheap housing, and of course, like everybody knows who runs across the border to do it, cheap medications. So with the price of meds going up and up and up in some of these countries, people are running to Mexico to get their meds, checking it out and saying, I'm going to retire here. But the biggest con, and this is one of the reasons, because a lot of people say, well, did you ever consider any place else? I never considered Mexico because of the government volatility, lots of on the take government officials,
cartels and
lots of
everything else.
unsafe cities, and security issues. When I have to choose between living in a confined space or money, I'm not going to choose the confined space.
Right.
It's not worth it to me. So that was something that you might consider in Mexico, because we've heard a lot of great stories, but I've also heard a lot of horror stories. And I just, well, that's me. But you guys choose. Mexico might be on your list.
Right.
You know, who am I to tell you?
I mean, especially I've seen a lot of seniors move to Mexico,
Yep.
but it's because of cheap healthcare, cheap medication.
Yep, and
whole 9
Costa
yards.
Rica. So that's our next city, Costa Rica. Cost of living, beaches and weather, and very affordable health care. But some of the negatives are the public health care is very bad. So
Wow.
you better make sure that this health care you're paying for is privatized, because the public health care is something to be scared of. Also, you have to really watch the areas that you live in, because they tend to target certain areas, mostly where expats are, and they have high theft and break-ins. Well, because if you're going to go and steal, you're going to go to the nice neighborhood. You're not going to go to a poor
Right.
person's house. You're
Right.
going to go to where you know that they have nice stuff. So they tend to have high theft and break-ins. So that's a con for Costa Rica. Moving on, Panama. Cost of health care is nice and low. It has a low cost of living, but they say the bureaucracy of the government is a bit much, but I hear they're working on it. So, hey, that might be a place that you consider. And petty theft,
Right.
meaning pickpocket.
Pickpocket.
Yeah, petty theft is very high. So I got to watch all my stuff all the time.
Hold your purse real tight.
Yeah. I ain't trying to. I'm in retirement. I gave up boxing.
You know, because I tell you what, if you get your passport pickpocket, you got a problem.
Yep.
You ain't
and
going nowhere.
The last, drum roll please, because
Okay.
we're Portugal.
Portugal.
The cost of living is low, health care quality is high, and the costs for health care is low. So when you have great quality plus low prices, it puts it at the top of the mark. They have been safety rated in the top 5 countries for the longest, almost 10 years. But some of the negatives, the language is very difficult.
Portuguese.
Portugués es más difícil. So it's very hard. So they have low local salaries, so it's kind of the same here in the DR. So then you kind of have to know that, you know, you've got that low salary. So if you're going there to look for a gig or, you know, some kind of work, that may not be the place for you, because
Right.
salaries are low.
Salaries
so
are low.
that's a negative. And weather can vary in different cities. From the north to the south, it could be cold, it could be hot, it could be raining, it could be this, it could be that. And they do get so cold that they do use central heat. So if, hey, you don't want to deal with any more cold, then that would be a negative for you for Portugal.
Right.
But that is the 8 countries that maybe you did not think about, that now maybe are on your radar. Hope we helped.
So something to think about.
So like we always say, because you know, you don't have to come to the DR to relocate, to live abroad, to live that what they call the third part of life, your third scene, right? Retirement. And because of all this current economic, racial, and political problems that everybody's going through, believe me, people, we understand with you wanting to live abroad. We understand that you have to get creative to stretch your money.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely.
But we all want to live comfortable, even luxurious. So hey, look at these 8 countries. Maybe you have some more. Drop them in the comments. Maybe somebody didn't think about a place that you've thought about. So drop it down and give some more ideas to our viewers.
Right. You also can move to Alaska too if you want to freeze every day. Anyway, in the meantime, between the time, or that life is to be enjoyed.
Yes, make sure to hit the subscribe, hit notification bell if you'd like to get notified for videos like this and others. Always remember to give this and our videos a like, a thumbs up, because it is the free and easy way to patron the channel. Remember that hitting subscribe and hitting like help us help you bring great content like this. And all the information is always underneath all of the videos. You can do a phone or video chat with us through buymeacoffee.com/CaribbeanE. So make sure to hit that link if you want to go on and meet up with us.
So, until the next video, peace.